This is a Weekend Explorer Quick Trip. Durango, Colorado sits in the Four Corners region of the United States. The town of Durango maintains its old Wild West charm while having one foot firmly planted in the present. Durango was named after Durango, Mexico, whose name comes from the Basque word Durango, meaning water town. After checking into the historic Strater Hotel, my friend Consuelo and I took a carriage tour.
It was built in 1887 by Mr. Parsons, who owned Parsons Drugstore down on Main Street.
The city was basically built by the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad in the 1880s as a hub to the mining of the coal, silver, gold, and other minerals in this region. The train has been renamed the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad to reflect the part of the original train line that still exists. Consuelo and I got on board to take this scenic ride. In 1860, it was said, "Rails will never reach those crags. Only a bird or a burro can take men into the Rocky Mountains." The General William Palmer took up this challenge in 1870 when he formed the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad. Palmer set the track gauge at only 3 feet or nearly 1 meter, 1/3 smaller than the growing American standard. This narrow gauge had a profound effect on Colorado, helping create and maintain the mining boom in the high mountain valleys here. Narrow gauge cars are less expensive and can make sharper turns. It's also less expensive to install rails, since a narrower path needs to be carved out of the mountainsides. Through the years, this line carried over 300 million in precious metals. From the very beginning, it was promoted as a scenic tour, and today it only carries passengers.
So we're going to go whitewater rafting.
After a while, you get so into it, you start feeling like you're actually in the 1800s. Then you begin to wonder if the train's going to be robbed. The train needs 10,000 gallons or 26,400 liters of water and 6 tons or 5,500 kilos of coal for just one round trip. Its average speed is 18 miles or 29 kilometers an hour. When mining dropped off, the train almost disappeared into history. A determined staff kept it alive by promoting tourism. In 1949, Hollywood discovered the train, and it was cast in the movie Colorado Territory. The train has starred in many roles since 1949, including some of my favorites like Around the World in 80 Days, How the West Was Won, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. This exposure and the resulting tourism is what turned the tide for the train, and today it continues to be maintained by a dedicated staff. Silverton has been described as a gritty little mining town with Victorian pretensions. The fudge and t-shirt shops of today belie the Wild West mining town replete with saloons and brothels that started here in 1874. In 1876, the population was 500 and it peaked here at 5,000 in the early 1900s during mining's heyday. The town hall and other civic buildings are from this time. Today, the population has shrunk back to 500 once again, and the entire town has been designated a National Historic Landmark. Visit us online at weekendexplorer.com, watch full episodes on PBS, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter.